welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So today we're going to be checking out some racing games. Well, racing games on the Atari 2600 to be exact. So the first two games I'm going to play and show off are pretty common games. I think most people who have a collection of Atari 2600 games probably have these in their collection. The third one, though, is more of a prototype. I guess it kind of missed the release date when all the other games were able to be released. But it did actually show up in, I believe, the flashback systems. But anyways, let's check out the first game. Okay, so the first game we have here is Grand Prix. This is, an Activision title, so it's going to be graphically pleasing. And, for its day, it was actually not too bad. So we got some sound there. We got the nice roaring of the engine. That's our car. Kind of looks like, I always say this, kind of looks like a kazoo. Those little things you blow on. Anyways, it's just for fun. Alright, let's start racing. So this is pretty straightforward. I mean, you're just going, your car is actually just sitting in a stationary spot, but going up and down. But you have to, dodge these cars and, try and get through the match the fastest. Now, these were a lot of Activision games of the day. Were kind of like this. They were more of the try and get from the beginning to the end as fast as possible. Games like Dragster, for instance, which I'm not really good at all, so I've chosen not to play that one. Because, this one I can kind of get through. Dragster is one of those games where you go to play it, and it just, unless you know exactly how to play it properly, you're not going to get very far. So that was my time, 43:46. There's also some options too. I haven't really explored too many of the options, but let's see. I think it just makes it a little bit more difficult, more stuff on the road. But I can see this being one of these games where it was like, you really just pulled it out and played it for a little while. Just to get some racing fun in there. I remember playing it when I first got the Activision Classics on my PC. Probably like Windows 95 era. I picked up the Activision Classics, and I remember playing this one. And, it's okay for what it is. I don't know what selection I picked. I picked 3. Just find there's a lot more of those oh, there's a bridge. As you can see, I'm not doing the greatest here. My score is going to be horrible. These were also great for when you had your buddy over and you just go 2-player on it. See who can best each other. Kind of a bragging rights style game. Going so slow. Move it. Oh. Be kind of cool if they actually exploded. You just really bounce off them. They're pretty much just obstacles in your way to slow down your speed. Look how fast this thing's going. The car literally enters the screen and it's already hitting you. So you just really gotta move fast. You have fast reflexes. And again, I've kind of talked about this before. It also, I think the controller makes a big deal. Big difference. I'm using a gamepad. I think I'd rather be using the Atari joystick at this point, an actual joystick. But the gamepad still works. It's whatever is more comfortable for you. Oh, yeah. As you can see, nothing really kills you or explodes the car or anything like that. But overall, still fun. Okay, so now we're over to pole position. So this was obviously more of a popular title. This game would have appeared in your arcades back in the day. And this one actually had some pretty cool cabinets. There was a stand-up one where you actually stand up and you use the steering wheel. And then there was the sit-down cabinet where you actually went in, you sat down, and it really felt like you were driving a car, which was unique in those days, So to see something like that in arcade probably was really exciting. And the Atari one doesn't really disappoint. I mean, it actually looks pretty decent. It actually kind of looks like the arcade style. So let's let's play some games. And yeah, it's got the music and everything. You know, they didn't skimp out on it and be like, you know, let's you know, cut out the music to save some space on the cartridge. Like, this game plays like actually quite well, and really kind of replicates that that arcade feel. Now, of course, the upcoming cars that you see there don't really, you know, they're just little like solid color blocks almost coming at you. But yeah, you know, so they had to skimp a little bit of detail there. But your car looks pretty good. I mean, I like the animation of the tires, the way you know, the kind of blinking line there to kind of simulate that the tire's moving. Let's see, what did I get there? Now, I know I've talked about this this in a few videos before, and I did a comparison between this one and Pole Position 2. Whoa, the explosion is real. I did a comparison between this and Pole Position 2, which was on the Atari 7800. I remember that one being the pack-in game with it. And I mean, as far as being a different game, it's really not too different. The second one, anyways. The gear, I know they changed the gear shift on you. I believe like this one, it's like you push up for low and down for high, and I think they reversed it for the 7800. But other than that, I think it's more just graphic. I mean, the 7800 was really a decent graphic machine versus obviously the 2600. But its only downside was that it used the same sound chip as the Atari 2600, and so the sound effects aren't any better on the 78. But you know, you get the point. I mean, they tried to make a system that you know, at its time could have actually competed quite well with the Nintendo. But I know there was like a timing issue there on when the 7800 got released and when it should have been released. And I think if it would have been released when it's supposed to, it might have been an actual decent competitor to the Nintendo. Because you know, if you compare the graphics and stuff and the gameplay, they're almost the same. Yeah. Overall, I think this is actually a pretty decent version. Okay, so the last game we're going to be looking at is Fatal Run. So this game is quite interesting. In fact, I didn't even know this game existed until I got the Flashback Portable, and I saw it on there, and I was, you know, quite interested in it. I started playing it, and I was, you know, it was quite impressive. So you can see it's got a 1989 date to it. Those were like the last run of Atari games to come out. And I don't believe this actually got released as a physical cartridge and box and all that stuff. But you can see a lot of work went into this, and I did some research, I looked it up, and apparently this was like, at its day, one of the highest amount of, you know, K on a cartridge. It was, I think they said it was like 32K, back when, you know, the cartridges, like the first Atari cartridges were like, you know, 2K. So we got this resume, and we got a new game. So we're going to start a new game. So this is a little bit different. Now, it kind of seems like Pole Position, like when you saw the footage there. But you actually have a mission here. You actually have to, well, it's actually telling you down at the bottom there. You have to drive to each city and deliver the much-needed medication. So they actually gave a kind of a quest to this, and, you know, you're not just simply racing. But I mean, the graphics, like when you look at it, that's pretty decent. I mean, the car looks like a sports car. It doesn't look like the, you know, the Pole Position Grand Prix style car. I believe you have, yeah, you have bullets in this game. And then you got some kind of like lightning thing that you can actually blow up the cars. And what's neat is it also gives you those gauges on the side there. Whoa. Where they're kind of representing your car's condition. So you kind of, you know, the body, the tires, the you know, everything that you would worry about your car. So all that stuff, you see those meters. So once those run low, you're in big trouble. But you can replenish them, by grabbing some stuff off the road. You also have to pay attention to your fuel. So as you can see, I didn't go very far on that one. Let's try again. I mean, you can really see the detail work on this one, you know, actually having these little sections here. Now, I don't believe there's a gear shifter. Oh, I don't know if I was supposed to touch that. Now, I think the green is what was that again? Whoa. So this is a game I haven't really had too much experience playing. But overall, I was quite impressed by it. And it did say, what the part that I was reading, you're best to avoid the cars, because you can kill them. But you're best to avoid them. And you can see they put some detail in there. The sides look very similar to pole position, like it feels like you're on the pole position track, but you got that little desert scene in the background, which looks really cool. Kind of gives you that feeling of a scrolling effect. I don't know how far this thing goes. Whoa, shouldn't be touching them. It's best to... Another game this kind of reminds me of too is Chase HQ, which was one of my favorites on like the Atari, the arcades. But that game came much later. Whoa. I don't know if I guess if you pass the first few, I guess, towns or cities or whatever, you can resume your game from there. Obviously, this wouldn't have had a save state because the Atari 2600 games didn't have that capability to save anything. They didn't have batteries or anything in there. I don't know if there ever was. I know for the what's it called? The name escapes me now. The supercharger. That's what I'm trying to think of. Now, I know for that, I think you might have been able to, but I could be wrong on that. Well, maybe not. That was just a tape player. You probably would have had to get into the more of the Atari computers to start saving your game. But anyways, yeah, that's a pretty cool game, and all these games are actually pretty decent. It's too bad this one never actually got its full release. But like I said in the beginning there, it's available on the flashback system. So if you get yourself one of those flashbacks by the app game flashbacks, it'll be on there. I guess because the game was finished, it just never hit a release date. Unfortunately, that's you know, what happened to quite a few games. They just never got their release. It was out of time. Like, I mean, you have to think about it. 1989, Nintendo. I mean, we were already getting into, like, what, the Sega Genesis at that time, or we were getting close to the Genesis and Super Nintendo, and you know, for Atari to keep kicking on like that, well, pretty cool. Same with the Intellivision. They were still making games for that. Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to play 3 racing games for the Atari 2600 just to check them out. Not sure if you're familiar with all of them, but you know, just to show you. Anyways, if you have any comments, leave them down below. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.